My boss cut everyone's pay for working too fast, so we left him hanging from the ceiling. Effective immediately, everyone's taking a 15% pay cut. You're all working too fast, Mr. Callahan announced, slamming his palm on the table. We all sat there stunned, waiting for the punchline. He continued, if you're finishing your projects before the allocated time, you're obviously cutting corners. Quality work takes time. I raised my hand to argue that efficiency meant we could take on more clients, but he cut me off with a sharp gesture. The time I've allocated for each task is perfect. 40 hours for a marketing proposal, 20 for a client report, 60 for a website redesign. These aren't suggestions, they're requirements. When I pointed out that I'd been completing proposals in 20 hours with 0 client complaints and 5-star reviews, he actually laughed. That's impossible without cutting corners. From now on, anyone completing work before their allocated hours will be written up for poor quality, regardless of what the client thinks. The new policy was printed, laminated, and posted on every wall. It sucked, but I figured if I just went along with it, Callahan would eventually realize this was dumb. That's when I accidentally looked at Milo's cubicle, and I had to do a double take. Milo was leaning back in his chair, feet up on his desk, scrolling through his phone with AirPods in. What are you doing? I whispered, worried Milo was about to get in trouble. He just grinned and showed me his computer screen, a completed financial report sitting in his drafts, timestamp showing he'd finished it 3 hours ago. I'm running the clock, he said casually. The report took me 5 hours, but Callahan said it should take 20, so here I am, ensuring quality for another 15 hours. I stared at him in disbelief. You're just going to sit here? Milo nodded toward Callahan's office. Earlier this morning, I actually submitted something a day after it was due. Callahan praised me in front of everyone for being thorough and detail-oriented. I was stunned. I glanced towards Nora, and to my surprise, she was doing the exact same thing. She had her laptop open to a completed presentation while watching Netflix on her phone. 13 more hours to go, she whispered when she caught me looking. Even Colby had already set up what looked like a leisure station at his desk. Coffee, snacks, a book, and his Nintendo Switch. The pattern was everywhere I looked. The entire office had transformed into a waiting room. The most surreal moment came that afternoon when Callahan walked through, saw everyone at their desks doing nothing, and actually smiled. Now this is what I like to see. Excuse me, what? He stopped right next to Milo, who was actually just watching YouTube, and patted him on the shoulder before walking back to his office. That went on for 2 whole weeks, and 2 weeks later, what I feared would happen started happening. Clients were sending emails asking why everything was delayed. Missed deadlines began piling up. All projects backed up because everyone was ensuring quality for their full allocated time. The situation finally exploded 3 weeks in, when Kelmar Industries called Callahan directly. I could hear him through his office door trying to explain why their quarterly report was 2 weeks late. It's almost done. We're just ensuring the highest quality, he kept saying. After he hung up, he came out to check on Nora's progress. She showed him her screen. The report had been sitting completed in her drafts for 10 days, with 4 days left on her allocated time. His face went from confused to pale as the reality hit him. Why haven't you submitted it? Submit it now! He barked. Nora shook her head calmly. You said if I submit before the allocated time is up, I'm not doing quality work. Callahan's eye twitched as he looked around the office, finally seeing what had been happening. How many projects are sitting in drafts right now? Milo pulled up a spreadsheet he'd been maintaining. 25 completed projects, all waiting for their allocated time to expire. Callahan's hands shook as he grabbed the edge of Milo's desk. This is insane! Our clients are furious. Submit everything immediately. Colby leaned back in his chair. But you said quality work takes time. We're following your policy to the letter. You know this isn't what I meant. Callahan's voice cracked. You're deliberately sabotaging the company. I stood up slowly. We're doing exactly what you told us to do. His face turned purple as he looked at all of us, sitting calmly at our desks with our completed work hidden away. If you don't start submitting projects right now, you're all fired. The room went silent for exactly 3 seconds. Then, as if choreographed, all 20 of us stood up simultaneously. Milo reached into his pocket first, pulling out a folded letter and sliding it across the table. His 2 weeks' notice. Nora followed, then Colby, then me. One by one, resignation letters piled up in front of Callahan like white flags of surrender. His mouth opened and closed like a fish gasping for air. You can't all just quit, he stammered, his voice cracking. I'll reverse the pay cut. We'll go back to the old system. But we were already walking out. The last thing I heard as the door swung shut was Callahan's voice, high and desperate, screaming, Wait, no, come back! I'll give you raises. Come back!